I didn't think it was so bad. I mean,
no, it was horrible. It was all wrong.
Muscles look pretty good.
Oh my God! Someone get me something to drink!
Nothing gets as twisted as a pixel. You know, here at Twisted Pixel Games with Mike, the CEO, and I want to ask you a few questions. First of all, how did you guys come together and make into becoming this development company that make weird, crazy games like this?
Yeah, so there were three founders: myself, Josh Baer, and Frank Wilson, and we were all buddies working together at another game developer making like licensed movies, games based off movies and stuff. And you know, we did that for several years, and kind of realized, you know, we got into the industry because we love games, and we love games like Mega Man and like Castlevania and the stuff that really like we grew up on, and you know, made us feel awesome. And we wanted to kind of strike out and make new stuff that, you know, inspired us to make games in the first place. So the three of us like kind of just decided to take the plunge one day and went off and made our own company. And that was around the time that Xbox Live Arcade just got announced and was a new platform, and we're like, sweet, that's like the perfect, you know, we don't have to have a big, you know, $20 million budget and a big publisher. We could like make something a little bit smaller and do it for Xbox Live Arcade. We hired some of our buddies from the industry, and then we got some investment from some angel investors that we knew, and just kind of everything came together, and we made them all, and it turned out really well. And then fortunately, you know, we got to keep going, and that's what this is all about. We just want to keep making more games. Yeah, so the idea for the MAW was kind of a joint idea between Josh Baer, one of the founders, who's the director of the studio, and Dave Leung, who's our art director. They always come up with like crazy ideas for games just for fun, like sitting around coming up with crazy stuff. And I think after Dave finished playing Ico, they were just kind of talking about the idea of like, you know, another whole game where you have this other, you know, creature or other character that you have to work with throughout the whole game. But really like infuse a lot of personality and humor. Maybe you have to use like an energy leash that you kind of lead them around like a puppy or whatever, and then you can use the leash for other things like a game Wild 9, you know, using like an energy leash. And yeah, so just like all these ideas kind of came together. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how all our ideas work, I think. We start with a nugget that's kind of, you know, cute or funny that makes us laugh at first, and then yeah, exactly. And then just all these other ideas get latched on, and it becomes some crazy game. The
time restraints for Splosion Man were quite tight, from what I imagined. When I saw it, it took like only 6 months or something.
That's
how did you get that? Like, how did that like affect what you're doing now? Did you like learn any tricks of the trade or something like that?
Yeah. So we learned to not make games in 6 months. we learned to take longer. So we've already spent, you know, close to a year on Comic Jumper. We're putting in more time and effort. The game's going to be, you know, hopefully really slicked and really polished when it's done. And I think one thing we learned too is, you know, if you notice in Splosion Man, there's some like camera work, you know, we're doing where the camera zooms in. Sometimes it changes angle a little bit and do
some cinematic work.
We started doing a little bit of that, and it was kind of intentional that we laid the groundwork there in Splosion Man so that we could use some of that in Comic Jumper and take it to the next level. We knew that we wanted to make Comic Jumper, and we knew it was going to have a lot of camera work and, you know, visual effects and lighting and like streaming. We had to add streaming to our engine now, so we could have these a lot larger levels. So these are all things that we kind of learned from Splosion Man and built on.
And what we were seeing in the demo here was at least 3 different gameplay changes going on. How do you expect like more gameplay and power-ups to appear as he goes further into different worlds and whatnot, or is it just graphical and world changes?
So yeah, it's gameplay changes quite a bit, as you mentioned. Like, there's, you know, you start out in the demo and it's melee, and then, you know, there's some cinemas, and then it's kind of Gunstar Heroes shooting, and then you're riding down the side of a building on a Bradbot, and then there's like a quick time event as you're busting through, you know, so the side of a building, and then, you know, there's the kind of the obligatory helicopter boss battle that every shooting game has. And that's kind of where our demo ends, but there's more after that, actually. The gameplay actually switches up a few more times, and that's just within the first comic. There's actually other things, too, that we do in some of the other comics that we haven't revealed yet.
And I'm sure you asked this question a few times, but these are all Xbox Live Arcade games, and some people out there are wanting it on, say, PC or on PlayStation Network or whatever.
Right.
Do you see that being a future endeavor, maybe releasing a game to retail, or do you think that Xbox Live Arcade is where it's at right now?
No, so definitely, like, you know, we make games and we want everybody in the world to play them as much as possible. So the MAW is on Steam, it's on Greenhouse, it's on Direct to Drive. Splosion Man is currently only on Xbox Live Arcade. We'd love to bring that to other platforms. Right now we're just really busy on Comic Jumper, but you know, that's definitely something we're interested in. So I don't have any announcements now, but you know, we'd love to bring it to PC and other things. And then same for Comic Jumper. It's just right now we're really trying to make it the most awesome game we can on one platform, and then worry about that later.
All right. And one last question: what's your favorite donut?
Favorite donut? That is an excellent question. You know, I'd have to say I'm actually a fan of those powdered donuts with the like raspberry jelly inside. I like those.
They're almost Danishes, but that's pretty good.
Yeah, I usually get like 2 of those, and that's about as much as I can handle, and then I'm done with donuts. That's my favorite, probably.
Cool. It's Twix and Pixel. We'll hopefully see some more Comic Jumper later this year, especially at E3, I imagine.
I hope so.
Comic Jumper, the Adventures. Oh my! You put his name.